Hi, welcome to the primer on business development. My name is Olessia Smotrova-Taylor and I'm the president of OST Global Solutions, Inc. We help companies grow by winning large commercial and government contracts. The reason I decided to record this primer is that I see so many companies struggle. In fact, I see a lot of companies that make it to 1 million. It usually is not that hard when the owner works really a lot of hours, they have business partners that are dedicated, they have connections in the government that got them some contracts. What is really tough is to make it to 5 million. I heard the scary statistic that about less than 1% make it to 5 million, about 1.5 make it to 10 million, and 1 in 25 companies ever survives past 10 years. Now those are really bad numbers. And what I see is that the companies really don't know how to do business development in a consistent and organized manner, and that's really the downfall. If you're not growing business, you die. So in a business development, there are lots of things that one's got to know. Now, I inevitably see companies make all kinds of business development mistakes, but they generally fall into a couple of categories. One of them is inaction, and that's self-explanatory. I mean, if companies don't really dedicate enough attention to business development, don't do anything in a systematic manner and to develop business to grow, they are inevitably going to die. Their contracts are going to end, something's going to happen, they're not going to make it. The part that's more complicated is when the companies do a lot and nothing good comes out of it. Companies don't win enough business. They keep bidding, spending money, spinning wheels, and they don't win. Or they do all the wrong things. Or they think of business development as hiring a bunch of guys who know how to play golf, and they have connections, and those become their business developers. They come from the government, they know the agency, they know the customer, but they don't really know how to do business development in a systematic and organized manner. And this is what I really wanted to talk about and to tell you about how to do business development. What are the steps? What are the key processes that you really need to know about? So business development has got very definite steps in its cycle. So I wanted to present the cycle to you and to show you what goes into this. The first step in business development is strategic planning. In fact, planning is such a huge part of growing a business. It's really important. A lot of small businesses, they're so busy in the day-to-day tasks, they forget to plan. And they also, some business owners treat planning as an administrative task. It's not an administrative task. You have plans that make your business successful in every area. You have your strategic plans, you have your marketing plan, your business plan, the most basic plan there is. You have capture plan, you have proposal plan, you have project planning. When you've won those projects, you have to have a plan. In fact, for a proposal, you have to have a plan. So a strategic plan, in fact, is your very first part of the cycle. Then you have market research, pipeline development, opportunity identification steps that I all lumped into one step, but really it's 3 activities that happen in parallel. You have marketing, and then you have capture planning, you have proposal development. And the last step that is really important is to have additional and new opportunity identification during the implementation of the project that you've already won. Strategic planning starts with the end goal in mind. It's something almost counterintuitive. You'll start with what is the vision, where you're trying to get to, where you're trying to go first, and then you get to looking at where you are. Then you get to see what kind of steps can get you there. There are 4 most important things that whatever you do, there are lots of things that you got to achieve with your strategic planning, but there are 4 important steps that you have to have gone through in order for you to declare success in your strategic planning session. One of them is recruitment strategy for your business development staff. You got to know who you're going to go with, how you're going to do your business development, who you're going to hire. You got to really truly understand, are you going to hire consultants, are you going to hire somebody who is your internal staff, and who are you going to bring in? What skills are lacking right now in your organization that you got to look at candidly and decide, okay, I'm going to bring in, for example, a business development or account manager, or I'm going to bring in a capture and proposal management staff, or I'm going to bring in a production staff because we're going to be really doing a lot of proposals. We're going to be going after business aggressively, and this is the most cost-efficient way to do it. Another key step is to develop the top-down business development budget. This is not something that's going to be opportunity specific. It's got to be something that, for your good business planning, you've got to have money set aside for business development. And that's got to be no accident. You're not going to be going after an opportunity and really spending money left and right, and not that being something that's very deliberate. Another step that you got to have there is the ideal customer profile. It really helps you get your describe your most perfect customer for your set of products, for your portfolio. And it really helps you in identifying your potential customer set. And the last element that really has got to be important there is to have a set of target customers, markets, and agencies that you got to go after and research. Because you probably already have a bunch in mind, but you just got to have a list organized, and you got to determine your priorities, who's going to be researching, what markets you're going to be looking at, and that will get you going. Market research, pipeline development, and opportunity identification are three separate steps, but they're usually done simultaneously or sequentially, but all as part of one process. The way that you go about it is to use sources such as input or fed sources. There's a variety of different sources. In fact, you can go to our website, ostglobalsolutions.com, and look at the links to the different capture databases, and they all do different things, depending on what area you're operating in. Another great source that you shouldn't miss is going and talking to the contracting officers, to the government decision makers, to small business advocates, and seeing and asking them what kind of opportunities they have. Great source of information is presidential budget. You got to look at where the priorities are, where the administration is spending the money, correlating the data with a variety of other sources. You can see there are lots of different sources to get that information. So out of that exercise, you should get a few dozen of opportunities that you got to look at very closely and to see whether they are fit with the portfolio of the offerings that you have. I would not look at anything that's sooner than 3 months, because others will have had tons of time to prepare for it, and then you're going to be submitting a proposal and wasting a lot of money, basically. So unless you are absolutely sure that it's a level playing field, don't go after it. The opportunities you should really look at are something that starts at about a 6 months mark, so that you have plenty of time to prepare, and then look at 1 year away or 2 years away. Marketing to federal customers really is a part of your capture plan, but then you also got to do the general marketing for brand recognition. And there's no secret that you have to do it almost like you would do it to the public, not in the government business. You have to come up with a marketing plan and enact that marketing plan. One thing that I really want to leave with you here is that you have to understand the congressional appropriation cycle, and you have to understand the fiscal year, so that you're marketing to the customers that are really the paying customers, that they are funded for that particular set of opportunities and needs. Because a lot of the times the agency will have a need, and they will talk to you, and they are really looking at the solutions, but really they don't have any money to pay for it, at least in this year or in the near future. So now that you've identified each opportunity, you enter a stage that's called capture. Capture planning or capture management is its own discipline. It's the most important part in securing that contract for you. The Association of Proposal Management Professionals has determined that about 60% of the budget should be spent on capture in order to win business. They've polled the companies, and that's about the number that they've spent in order to get that contract. So with capture, there's a definite set of steps. It's not something that someone does hodgepodge, however they feel that day. They make a phone call, they develop a relationship, they collect some information. No, it's a very definite set of steps. It results in a plan. And the steps that you have to go through are first and foremost the competitive analysis. There's a whole process that you go through in order to analyze your competition and to determine where you stack against them and what you got to do in order to beat them. You have win strategy development. And win strategy development, again, is a set of meetings that you go through in order to come out with very definite products out of those meetings that prepare you best for this particular proposal and for winning, and for doing for specific action items that you draw out of that session that get you to win. The next set of steps is customer focused marketing. You have to, that's part of something that you determine how to focus, how to market to the customer best, and that's part of your marketing, overall marketing plan, but that's opportunity specific here. You have teaming. You have to have your team ready and in place in majority of the cases well before the RFP comes out. Otherwise, all the good companies are already taken by the time that the RFP hits the street. And then you have intelligence gathering in order to prepare for the proposal. So a lot of the companies, when they've done capture well, they will have written that proposal already before the RFP ever comes out. They will have postulated the requirements, they know exactly what the customer is going to evaluate, and they will have collected the information, brainstormed, developed all their key graphics, developed the bullets of the text. So all of that is done pre-proposal, before anything ever happens with the government issuing the draft or even the actual RFP. Well, proposal management usually starts when the RFP hits the street. Sometimes some companies will actually start the real proposal writing process when the draft RFP is out, but sometimes there is no draft RFP. So you start the countdown once you get the RFP, once you get the firm deadline. And what's really important about proposal management is that it's got to have a process. There are lots of processes out there. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. The processes such as Shipley, that's the classic. You have SM&A, you have High Silver, you have Must Win. All the large companies have their own set of processes, but the key here is you've got to have a process, even the simplest of the processes. In fact, I'm going to show you a simple proposal process. This is the most basic sort of set of steps that you got to go through. You have your kickoff. That's when you tell your team to be on the same page, and you orchestrate the whole effort. You present your schedule, you get everybody to really understand what it's all about, and then you have a set of reviews. You have just-in-time reviews, you have pink team, you have red team, you have gold team, you have the whole rainbow of colors called color reviews. And then you plan for your printing and you plan for your delivery at the end. Because what happens is some companies actually run into that problem when they don't plan the delivery well, and then they're facing a mad scramble towards the end, and people jumping on the airplanes or driving crazy. There are all kinds of stories out there, and you want to avoid that. You want to be early and you want to be ready. Business development does not end with submitting a winning proposal. In fact, after you've won the job, what happens is you have the implementation part, where you have your project staff working, and if you train them, they can become your sales force. And since they're the trusted agent of the government, working on the ground hand in hand with the customer, they can give you the opportunities, tell you about the opportunities that are coming down the pike that contracting officer may be working on as well. And they can probably upsell your services. You can get a modification that augments the scope of the contract, for example, and that's really a great opportunity. Now that we've gone through the whole cycle, I wanted to leave you with the last set of advice. There are 5 things that you need to do in order to become the business that grows aggressively, that becomes a real business development machine. First is hiring the right BD people. You got to have the right talent on board in order for you to be able to win consistently. Another thing is to have the systems and tools in place to make you efficient at winning that business. You have to have a set of processes for all of your key activities. Then you have to have the collateral for marketing, for branding, for proposals, for capture. You have to have all these documents that you can repeat and build a whole library you can refer to, and in order for you to really not reinvent the wheel each time and to build on something that you've already done. And then finally, you have to offer training to your personnel so that they continuously grow professionally and so that your entire workforce becomes your sales force. Global Solutions can help you with any part of the business development cycle to make you successful and to get you to win government contracts. If you have any questions or if you need any help, please don't hesitate to contact us. Our website is ostglobalsolutions.com, and you can email us or call at 301-384-3350. Thank you very much.